Welcome back to the Resilient Events podcast, where we explore what it really takes to lead, connect, and create with intention. I'm your host, Marisa Cali, and we do things differently around here. This isn't just a show about events, it's about the people behind them. The leaders navigating digital overwhelm, the creators building purpose-driven businesses, and those of us learning to pause, reflect, and show up more fully. If you're looking for real talk, mindful strategies, and stories that remind you to stay present, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Digital overwhelm. We're not just talking about inboxes, notifications, DMs, all of that. We're talking about the mental feeling of all of the overwhelm, even if you don't have it on a to-do list, if it's not in your project management software, but you're feeling the weight of that overwhelm because you've been connecting, because you've been doing all the things to make sure that your business or your person runs smoothly and you feel that weight. So we're going to talk about that today. So thank you for joining me again. And the first point I want to make, it is about what I said, what it really looks like. And it's not just that's something that you can see in your inbox, in your DMs, and you know it, but it's almost like the guilt that you feel from not getting everything done. The guilt that you feel that you know that you have to get a certain amount of things done by the end of the day, and there's some kind of stress building up and overwhelm because of all the things on your to-do list. You know, I've been there. Even just creating this podcast, sometimes I think about, okay, there's an idea I want to do, and then I have to create the intro, then I have to create my outline, what I want to talk about, and it becomes almost overwhelming because I know that I want to be intentional with my time, but there's other things that are filling up my to-do list, whether it be meetings or things that I want to do at home to get prepared for the day, like taking the meat out of the freezer to make sure it's defrosted in time. So, we oftentimes give ourselves guilt in that time because we're not doing it or using our time efficiently. And I was once told many years ago, and it still lands throughout my journey as an entrepreneur and creating things, is time is a construct. We create these time barriers for us to finish certain things by a certain time because it's what we've created in our head, but it's not necessarily something that is required to be done by a certain time. Obviously, I'm not saying go and be lazy and do all the, forget all of the things that you're responsible for, but you could see how if you're just giving yourself these time constraints, then it becomes overwhelming and almost overtakes your mindset. So that is also part of digital overwhelm, and maybe a little bit of shame because you're not doing what you think you need to do in a certain amount of time. And I was feeling this a little bit yesterday and posted about it because it was my vulnerable moment, and it actually relieved a little bit of stress because I was like, yep, don't have it all together today, feeling all the things. And, it may resonate with people, may not, but that's what I'm here to share, that it's not all roses and everything is nice. There are times when it feels overwhelming. If you are a high achieving leader or creator, you know that you put some of this stress on yourself to do all the things and get it all done, and you know how you can get it done in a certain way versus offloading it to other people. So they're especially vulnerable to that. So if you feel that you're a leader in this sense, or you're a leader because of the things that you're doing, you're especially vulnerable to this. And if you don't recognize it, sometimes you can relieve yourself just by recognizing it and knowing that you don't have to get it all done and not everything needs to be done. Or if you're just vocalizing it, sometimes that can clear up a lot of mental space. So, you're the face, you're the engine of the business. You're someone that needs to make sure that decisions need to be done. That can definitely make you more vulnerable to the digital overwhelm. I've been there. One example of that is knowing that I can make an impact, and I know that there are other people who feel this way as well. How do you be visible and showcase your impact if you're not as tech savvy, or you don't know what platform to post this on and how to share the story that got you to where you are in your business, which is successful, but you still feel the overwhelm, and that pressure can really overcome someone if you're not recognizing when it can be a detriment to your day or your mentals. And I always say, take care of your mentals. I want to also talk about the symptoms of digital overwhelm that you might not be recognizing. One of those is decision fatigue. So if you have lots of decisions to make and you are thinking so much about those decisions that you have to make and kind of not having a direction of what decision to make, that's digital overwhelm. The second one is scrolling paralysis. So you're like deflecting any thoughts or any ideas around you actually getting to actually the next step. So you just detach from all of those ideas and you just scroll. You're just going to doom scroll. You're going to get wound up in something that doesn't align with who you are, because I'm just going to go focus on this thing over here and forget about what really lights me up and what is going to make me get to that next step. The third thing is comparison loops. So I'm guilty of that myself. Seeing other people post in a certain amount of time, or seeing someone launch something that I know that I've been wanting to launch, or you see them just showing up in a way, and we're always comparing ourselves to others. I recently talked with someone at a networking event and found out about their podcast, and it's about imposter syndrome. And this person is like super successful, had multiple businesses closed, bought them, exited, made money, a true entrepreneur and leader in the space. And they suffer as well from imposter syndrome. So it's not uncommon for someone to feel overwhelmed and also compare themselves to others. The other symptom of digital overwhelm is procrastination disguised as research. So I'm going to go look down the path, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to go look here and maybe get some inspiration. And sometimes that can only distract us from getting to the next step. And the next step is going to get us to the next step and the next step and the next step. However, you're not being present, because you are going to then go into a loop of, I didn't get it done, and I didn't go to the next step, and I didn't just pause and know that I don't have to get it done right now. That's a little bit different. I don't know. I can explain it in a way that, to me, presence and just slowing down and pausing is not procrastination, because I'm not distracting myself with doing something else. I can sit on the couch and not scroll and just breathe and take a moment to just close my eyes and think, okay, what's one small thing that I can do next? How do I want to show up in that next moment? And it's not, how do I want to show up at the end of the day? How do I want to show up in the next 5 years, in the next year, in the next month? I just want to be as present to the moment that I can. And that will then hopefully, if you do the same, it will hopefully relieve some pressure that you've created for yourself. And also, I think when we are in the digital overwhelm, we don't connect with things that we believe. I think your core beliefs are part of your brand. So if you think about what you believe, I believe that AI is not supposed to replace the things we do. It's a tool and there's still some human element. I used an AI intro in my last episode, and as much as that was cool to not, have to record an intro or do all that, it just didn't align with me. It didn't sound like me. In that case, I used AI to test it out, but I also wasn't overwhelmed with the decision whether or not to use it because I wanted to try it out and test it and see if that aligned with me. And I think if I would have spent so much time on creating an intro and doing all these things to make sure it's perfect, then I would have never got the episode out. So sometimes you just have to, make sure that you're not disconnecting from your core message and make sure that you're aligning everything to you as a person and as a result, your business. So I mentioned presence is a personality trait. When people ask me like, what can I offer? It's so funny because I offer presence, and a lot of people are like, wait, what does that mean? Does that mean like an actual present? Like you're going to give me a gift with a bow on it? And no, it's presence. Like I'm listening to what you have going on because I'm not setting an expectation. I'm not trying to decide what the next question is. I'm just there and in that moment. And just like I said about, pausing and kind of thinking just in that moment, not thinking ahead too far, not thinking what you need to do to make yourself feel better about the day. And you're just thinking in that moment. And sometimes it's just the quiet. You don't even have to have an outcome of that moment. And there's a lot of people that might listen to this and be like, oh, wow, she's so calm. That's not how she is in person. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes I'm calm. Sometimes I'm minimalist. And then sometimes I'm turned on and my personality is wild and sarcastic and loud. It's there. But being present and you, especially with yourself, and just seeing, what feels good, what feels right, that can be really important to alleviate a lot of the digital overwhelm. And I invite you to do that in moments where you feel the most overwhelmed, whether that is right before you go into a big important meeting. Set your intention to arrive 10, 15 minutes earlier and sit in your car and maybe listen to some music that actually makes you feel good, or call a friend and say hi. Creating this space to really pause and not be rushing to every little thing will help you show up in a way that is not overwhelmed and not feeling like you have so many things to get done. And I'd be lying if I said I don't have a lot of things on my list. There's always ideas running through my head. But when I get to that point of feeling like, oh my God, I have so much to do, I try to just go back to the moment and the present, because I'm going to give myself the overwhelming feeling of guilt, the overwhelming feeling of I'm not doing enough, even though I've got a full inbox of things to do, not things to read. I know that there's certain things that I need to do, but I have a full list of things that I can do, but I'm not just what I do. I'm also a whole person. I need to make sure that I feel good. So, and this can be really, really hard to do with someone who's solely running their business or being online. And I think we need to take lessons from the people that are not behind the screen and are actually outside. They don't have constant barrage of messages or things to connect with. They can, if what you need to do to take a pause is actually go take a walk, then that's the thing that you need to do. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do, because you have to look within and see what is going to work for you. And that is super, super important. If you are constantly behind a screen, or you feel that you're digitally connected all the time, I will ask you to go in and audit your inputs. What are you putting into the digital space, and figure out if that's actually serving you. So one thing you can do is like, who are you following? Does that overwhelm you in that sense? Does it make you feel like you're not doing enough? Does it make you pissed off or mad, especially things that might be going on in the world right now? Does the fact that you follow someone that you haven't heard from in a long time think that, oh my gosh, I need to actually reach out to them again? They haven't gotten back to me, or we are supposed to work on a project and they haven't reached out to me. I mean, there's so many ways that we input our energy into things online, and especially with this podcast. My hope is that it doesn't overwhelm you and doesn't give you a bunch of extra things to do. So yeah, does this serve my clarity, or does it cloud it? Ask yourself that, and then decide if it's for you or if it's not for you. I used to get all worked up when someone would unsubscribe from my email list, and I realized, you know what, it's not for them at the time that they unsubscribed, and that's fine. And if they remember me, great. If they don't remember me, fine too. It's really about making sure that you connect with the right people, and that'll then fill up your cup in ways that we know will be fulfilling to your life and your business and your person. So here's my challenge. If you can, if you're feeling overwhelmed by your digital world and your digital life, then unfollow or mute 5 accounts after you listen to this. If they don't reflect your goals in life, if they don't reflect your business, if they give you some kind of ick, taking words from my favorite show, Love Island, right now, that's my favorite show right now. That's another point. If it doesn't fill you up in a way that makes you clear and makes you feel good, then unfollow or mute. That's okay. We've got so many things online, and it's fine to do that. So, but don't unfollow unless it's not serving you anymore. That's okay. And then I would say also replace your reaction with intention. If you are reaching out to people because you feel that's necessary to reach out to them, ask yourself before you reach out, what's your intention with this? I think we're so quick to react in a digital world, and we want to reach out and we want to do all this. But if you feel that you are already digitally overwhelmed, maybe pause on that and reach out when you feel a little more clear or a little more calm in your ability to show up fully and not half-ass. I'm going to ask you right now just to take 3 breaths with me. Three breaths. Do you feel calmer? My hope is that you were able to take a pause in that moment, and if not, go ahead and revisit that when you have the opportunity. If you're driving, I understand, don't want to get you in an accident or anything like that. And I want you to remember that when the next time that you're thinking about doing that next thing, and you're thinking about the end of the day, what you need to get done, where you need to be, who you need to answer to, ask yourself this: what's the intention behind this? Take a pause, answer it. If you're able to answer it in that moment, more power to you. If not, think about that question. And remember that visibility doesn't always require burnout. It requires alignment. Thank you for listening, and we will talk soon.